All right, John, this is kind of one of my favorite topics. Influencers sometimes come in a second, sometimes they come in a lifetime, and in between, we all generally have a lot. Some we don't even know that have been. Um, I always talk about my grandfather when I speak. Him, my grandmother, my mom, my aunt immigrated from Kyiv, Ukraine, years and years ago to Canada. And my grandfather used to take me for walks in the park in Montreal, where I'm from, and I saw he talked to everybody, which is probably where I got that DNA from, I guess. And I call him Zeta. I said, "How do you know all these people?" And he said, and I remember him pointing. He said, "See this fellow coming up." One day I smiled at him, and he looked up and smiled at me and came over, and we became friends. And then someone else saw us smiling, and one night they came over, and I remember my 5-year-old brain saying, "This is pretty good. All I have to do is smile." And I'll have friends and people. And then you start getting older and you complicate it a little bit. Now that's ridiculous. That's not enough to smile. But then you start getting wiser again, and you say maybe even just a smile can make a difference in someone's life. And so, with that, can you share two or three people that have been influential in your life?
Yeah, yeah. Other than I'm gonna do outside my family because I talk about them a lot and they're great.
That's
Uh,
fine.
but yeah, I would say my first real mentor as an adult, his name is Dr. Randy Randolph. He passed away last November, and he was a major general. He ran the hospital system for the Air Force. He was the first African American to get a position like this in general. So he faced a lot of adversity. And he was extremely intelligent, both tactically, military wise, but also medically, and a very good-natured human. He would probably come across as just a silly old grandpa if you didn't know. He was one that I would always come to him really excited with updates. And he would just Socratic method me into solving a lot of problems that I had. But he always was like 10 steps ahead. And he's like, what are you going to do next? What's the next? Okay, after that. Okay. So he helped me think very strategically. He also taught leadership lessons on like executive presence for C-suites and stuff. I got to see his presentations, which were beautiful, that he did for hospital systems. So I learned, wow, so many skills from him. And I also saw how he handled stress very well. And yeah, incredible human.
Sounds like it. Who else?
Dr. Randy.
Any others? I'm sure.
Yeah, yeah. So Josh Benoit, Dr. Joshua Benoit, who was in my the insect lab. I fell in love with research under him. He taught me a lot of cool things. Basically, I had 20 hours at the end of the day. He came up, maybe 16 hours to come up with a proposal for research. And that means you have to know the whole canon of this specific insect and all the experiments that were done on it. So I pulled an all-nighter. And I wrote three things on the board: step one, step two, step three, and he loved it. Other people were writing everything on the board, but he taught me the love for simplicity and not complicating things and being direct. He
Hmm.
also taught me to focus on things. So, and then the last one is Dr. Kelly Cohen, who I'm currently doing my PhD under. He recruited me. I laughed in his face, and then he literally, I'm like, hey, I work 80 hours a week on my nonprofit, and he's like, that's why you should do this. He asked me what three problems were we were having in the industry, and he convinced me that doing a technical PhD would solve those things. We also have resources from the university now and a partnership with our nonprofit. So he taught me that STEM is really useful if you're a good business person. And so I have, I sit very uniquely in a STEM, but also sales, communications, product development, and that has made me pretty much invincible the way he's prepared me. So it's been amazing.
Yeah, it's that's fantastic, and thanks for sharing that. The one thing I think I get from people a lot of times is that we're all influencing people a lot too, and many times we don't even know it, and we have a choice to be positive or negative, which seems like a no-brainer choice. I don't know if you ever seen the movie Mr. Holland's Opus at all.
Hmm.
It's an older movie about this guy that taught music and whatnot and didn't think he really impacted anybody until
Mm.
until the very end you see all the people that he's impacted.
Hmm.
and by virtue of impacting them and then other people and other people. And a great movie to watch. But thanks for sharing about those influencers. Really important stuff, and I appreciate it.
Yeah.